another tutorial. Today we will be working on Kapotasana, the camel drop back where you come down to your elbows, grab onto the toes and arch to take your head towards your feet. It is an advanced pose and requires quite a bit of strength and flexibility in your back, in your shoulders, in the front of the hips, as well as your abdominals. So as always, move with your own pace, and at any time feel free to pause the video. You can always come back or replay as you gain more flexibility. Have 4 blocks and 2 straps, your grippy mat, and be close to a wall so that we can use the wall for some support. Let's get started. Let's start with some gentle thoracic openers. Have 2 blocks ready, and one will be for each shoulder blade. When we line it up, we want the bottom edge of the block to line up with where your bra strap or heart rate monitor would be. Basically the bottom edge of your shoulder blades. So we'll take them together on a medium height and then lay yourself back. Open your chest, open your throat, hands to opposite elbows, lean back, open, breathe. You can just lay here for a while. If you feel that it's not deep enough, you can simply turn the 2 blocks up, or you might even add a 3rd block. It's the same thing. Bottom of the blocks will line up with bottom edge of your shoulder blades. Right smack dab center of your spine, and then lean back. Hands to opposite elbows, arch. Arms can straighten. You might sit the butt down. Just make it feel nice. Prime the body to open for a deeper back bend. After you've moved through that gentle shoulder opener, we'll move on to opening the front of our hips, the hip flexors. So take 2 blocks. Come to a long, low lunge. And what I mean by long, instead of having 90 degrees in both knees, walk your right foot forward and lengthen your left leg back so you're on top of the kneecap, not directly on the knee. Lower your thigh towards the floor and avoid spinning your thigh open. Instead, turn both hip points down to face the floor and straight forward, squaring your hips. And just settling into this thigh here, stretching this entire front left upper hip. If it's tight, you'll probably start leaning forward, but over time, start to lift your chest, lengthen. If anything feels bunchy or crunchy down here, don't go so deep. Back of the hips and give rest. Then we'll move to taking 1 block underneath the knee. So take your block against the wall. They call this the King Arthur series. And then we'll take the knee to the corner of the wall. Lunge your right foot forward. And at first you can start here, stretching this quad, which should feel like a nice deep stretch. But eventually, our goal is to walk our foot forward to sink that left thigh down. And again, avoiding the opening of the hip, keeping your left hip facing straight forward and down. So we are stretching the front of this hip, but also if you look at if you take the head back and the forearms to the wall, it is essentially a single-legged variation of our Kapotasana. So whenever you feel ready, first hands will walk to the thigh and you can straighten. Zip navel to your spine, core is engaged, sink the thigh down. Arms might reach up, taking your fingers to the wall. And as we take our head back, we'll bend our elbows, walking our fingertips down. So look back, inhale, and then exhale, arch. Slowly come back up, and you'll start to see that the shape resembles what is actually a deeper single-legged Kapotasana. Straighten the leg, back it up, release. And then come to a nice seat. Sitting up tall, close to the wall, but still some distance. Hands on top of your knees. Inhale to arch your chest, look up. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Exhale, tuck chin to chest round. Inhaling to arch. Exhaling round. One more, inhale. Pull the heart forward, squeeze the shoulder blades back. Exhaling round. Neutral spine. Let's take the other side. 2 blocks on the highest setting. Lunge your left foot forward. Lengthen your low lunge stance. Walk your back knee back. Turn the right hip down to the floor and lower your thigh towards the floor. Then zip navel to spine. Lift the belly away from your front thigh. Walk the blocks back. Lift your chest. Breathing into the front of your right hip. Back up your hips, straightening your leg. Prepare a block underneath your right knee. If there's any knee pain, place blankets underneath your knee or don't go so deep. Always listen to your body. Challenge is good, a deep stretch is good, but pain, it's a sign to back off. Back up your hips towards your heels, stretching the front quad and lengthen your tailbone. I think some of these are in the Backbending 101 video that I hope you warmed up with first. Then walk your left foot forward, sink your right hip, right thigh down towards the floor. Lift your chest, belly away from the thigh. Hands on top of left thigh. Lift the chest, breathe, straightening your arms. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fingers to the wall. You can just stay here or start to look back, arch back. Walk your fingers down the wall. Close your elbows. Walk your hands downward. Slowly come up. Hands back to the blocks. Back up the hips, give relief to your back leg. And then come off the blocks. Come to a nice tall seat. Finding length behind your shoulder blades with straight arms. Standing up on your knees, tucking your back toes. Pulse your chest forward, reach your arms back. Then inhale, arms up. And then exhale, fingers to the wall. Look back. Straighten your arms, push. And then sit your butt down. Maybe you'll walk the hands down. Push, sit. Look back. Hands back, sit down, rest. Bow pose can make a similar shape. Before you go into the full position of Kapotasana, be comfortable with working your elbows together, grabbing onto your feet in your bow pose, and taking head to your feet. So bend your knees, grab onto the straps as close as you can. Flip your elbows, lift up. Maybe grab onto your feet and then pull. So if we look at Kapotasana from another angle, we'll also see that it's very similar to Cobra pose. So facing the wall, come on down to your belly, and we're going to walk ourselves or crawl ourselves in until our chest is against the wall. And our hip bones are flat on the floor. Engage your toes back, hands can come to the wall, and hang here for a little bit. To make the shape, bend your knees, hold onto your straps. And then start to look back. Right? You might even hold closer and then take fingers and forearms. Creating that same shape without dropping back through gravity. Let's now analyze the shoulders. So the best exercise to open your shoulders, taking your forearms down to the floor, is your forearm wheel. You can go into your wheel however you like. For me, I'll probably take the swimming version, hand down, lifting your hips, walking forward, and reaching back. Find your wheel pose. Push the floor away, lift your chest. And take your forehead or crown of the head down to the floor. Take your forearms down one at a time and press your chest forward. Since we're doing our best to connect foot to head, step your foot in. Maybe you'll grab onto the foot. Maybe the knee will even come down. Press your chest back. And then we'll switch. Other foot in. Maybe the knee. Press your chest forward and back. And then staying in your forearm wheel. Maybe straightening your arms, taking your chest through. Legs. Eventually coming all the way down. Full position. Set up first with your straps. There's a modified way, which feels amazing, that I'll show first. Have your 3 blocks ready behind you. Recline your shoulder blades back. Lift your hips. Hands around the straps. Pull it back and arch. And the forearms might not touch the floor, but this feels very nice in lifting your thoracic and stretching your shoulders. If there is any discomfort, you really want to be able to find comfort in that modification before moving forward with anything deeper. So we'll be working into the full position, and we'll use the wall for support and stopping points during the pose before we go to the very deep connection of hand to foot, head to foot. Start about, I want to say, a hand's distance away from the wall. Come up onto your knees, tuck your back toes. Reach your arms up, inhale, and then exhale, arch back. Fingers to the wall. Then start to bend your elbows, walking yourself down. Take your forearms to the wall. Press your chest out. Then walk a little closer. Forearms. Puff up the chest. Walk down closer. Forearms. Puff out the chest. Walk all the way down. Straighten the arms. Puff up the chest. Maybe you'll walk your fingers to your toes, taking your head down. Puff up the chest. To come up, forehead down. Push the arms straight. Hands. Bend your elbows. Sit your hips down, lift up. And finally, when you're ready to practice the full position, you'll come up and we'll drop back. I personally like keeping my hands at my heart and walking my fingers down towards my toes with elbows bent, then having it straight up and arching back. But as you practice, practice both. Okay, starting standing on your knees. Inhale to lift the ribs, and then exhale, look back. Hands down, walk your fingers to your toes, elbows down, chest forward. And then you might even take it deeper. Lift up, look forward. Elbows down. To come up, push straight in, prayer to heart, lift up, and sit down. This is an advanced pose. As you practice, practice with patience, practice with respect for the body, always knowing where your limitations are and being okay with practicing the first steps before going straight into such a deep pose. But if you practice, it will come.